Greetings, Miracle Companions. Anna Kujawa here, and I am teaching A Course in Miracles. But I am teaching from the latest edition of A Course in Miracles, which is called A Course in Miracles, the Complete and Annotated Edition. This is the latest edition, and in my perception, it's the most original edition because it includes the 45,000 words that came through the scribe Helen Schuckman that were left out of the first two editions. And so I decided that I wanted to teach this edition from cover to cover because I wanted to learn the new material, which is really the more original material. And so we are doing the the Complete and Annotated Edition. And where we're at today is Chapter 3, Section 10. And we're going to be starting our reading in paragraph number 6, but I'm going to do a little recap from last week to bring us up to speed, and then we will pick up where we left off at paragraph 6. So this is the title of this section is called Judgment and the Authority Problem. So we're in Chapter 3, Section 10, Judgment and the Authority Problem. I'm going to do a little recap, and then we'll go to paragraph 6. So this is a section that is talking about judgment. And in the first paragraph, it refers to the last judgment. And it says the last judgment refers to a time when there will be no more judgment. So imagine that, a time when there will be no judgment. It says that judgment is the cause of our loss of peace. Where'd my peace go? Oh, well, we judged. I judged, and then I lost my peace. And it says that you lose your peace when you judge, because when you are judging the reality of others, you cannot help but fear the judgment of yourself. It says, don't judge the reality of others, or you will be unable to avoid judging your own reality. That's why we hear that old saying from the Bible, don't judge lest ye be judged. Judge not lest ye be judged. Why? Not because God will be angry at you and punish you, but if you judge the reality of others, you will be unable to avoid judging your own reality. And that's what we're suffering from. We've been judging the reality of others, which makes us unable to avoid judging our own reality. But we did not create ourselves. We do not know who we are. We don't know their reality. We don't know our own reality because we are not the creator. And so when we judge our reality, we are declaring that we created ourselves, that we are our own source, that we are God, that we created them. Well, you can see why it might occur that you would lose your peace when you are assuming that you are God and assuming that you know enough to judge the reality of others. So what it's reminding us here is that the goal here, the healing goal, the goal for peace comes when we lay down judgment. When we stop judging the reality of others, we stop judging our own reality, then peace returns. And so the goal here is to learn about what judgment is and how to stop doing it so that we can experience the peace that is our inheritance. Peace is our inheritance. Peace, the Course in Miracles says, is built in. And it's built in because it was given us by our Creator. But you don't know it. You'll have the experience of not having peace when you judge. And so we're going to talk about what judgment is, the cost of judgment, and how to lay it down, and what occurs, the gifts and the rewards that occur in your own life for peace and healing when you lay judgment aside. So it says here that, like we were saying, the choice to judge rather than to know is the cause of the loss of peace. Then I'm just recapping here, and it says that it says whether your judgment is right or wrong, you are placing yourself in the unreal. And why is that? Because when you are judging, you are assuming that reality is yours to choose from. And that's why it doesn't matter whether your judgment is right or wrong, you will lose your peace. Because when you are judging, you are placing your faith in the unreal, which means what? That you are implying that you believe reality is yours to choose from, as if you are the source of reality, as if you are God. So when you are judging your reality or theirs, you are assuming, you are acting like you believe you are the source, like you are God. Like reality is yours to choose from. And as you can see, that would lead to a loss of peace. So then it says something very beautiful and very powerful. It says, you have no idea of the tremendous release and deep peace that comes from meeting yourself and others totally without judgment. Wow. So what's on the other side of releasing judgment, of laying down judgment, meeting others without judgment? What comes from that? What is on the other side of that? The tremendous release and deep peace. Could you use some tremendous release and deep peace today? Well, if you could, if you would like to have some tremendous release and deep peace today, that comes from meeting yourself and others totally without judgment. Wow. And we have no idea of the tremendous release and deep peace that comes from meeting ourselves and others without judgment. So, if you could use some tremendous release and deep peace today, let us learn together. Let us listen to how to meet ourselves and others without judgment. Let us learn how to do that today so that we can experience that tremendous release and deep peace that comes from meeting ourselves and others totally without judgment. How about it? All right. So then it says that, it says also, and we're just still doing the recap, it says that all of our uncertainty in life, our self-doubt comes from the fallacious belief, the false belief that we need judgment to organize our life. So I'm uncertain, I'm experiencing self-doubt because I have this false belief that I need judgment to organize myself or my life. And the Course in Miracles says you don't need judgment. You don't need to judge in order to organize yourself or your life, okay? You don't need judgment to make yourself feel safe. You don't need judgment. Exactly. It says you think that you are under the coercion of judgment, which means you think you need judgment. Well, if I'm not judging them and I'm not judging myself and I'm not judging the situation, then I won't be able to organize my life or myself, and then I won't be safe. Course in Miracles says that's a false belief. That judgment that you think you need in order to be safe, in order to organize your life or yourself, that judgment is not keep making you safe. It's not helping you to organize your life or yourself. Actually, it's depriving you of the answers. It's depriving you of knowledge. It's depriving you of certainty, and it's depriving you of peace. So, I don't need judgment. All right. So then it says now we're going to get to now we're going to pick up where we left off, which was paragraph 6. All right. Hello, Carly and Heart Hiker. Wow, acting as if reality is something to choose from. It's right. Judgment is me acting as if reality is mine to choose from, as if I am the author of reality, right? Well, if that isn't the definition of arrogance, I don't know what is. So that's what judgment is. It's a profound arrogance that it comes from ignorance that produces a loss of peace. And we talked a lot last week about how it is to release ourselves from the fear of other people's judgment. You know, we were talking about how we're afraid to put our gifts out there, how we're afraid to extend our gifts to the world. We're afraid to be our natural selves because we're afraid of the judgment of others. Well, that fear of the judgment of others comes because we have been judging the reality of others. And the cost of judging the reality of others as if reality is yours to choose from, as if you're the author of reality, who knows? The cost of that is that you are unable, that now you're afraid, now you're terrified of other people's judgments on you. So that's really that's the deeper cost of judgment. It keeps us from being ourselves. It keeps us from being ourselves fearlessly. It keeps us from extending our gifts to the world and being ourselves in the world, because we're afraid that the judgment we used against them is going to be used against us. So now we're afraid, right? So that's the cost of judgment that we spoke about in last week's session. So, and it's saying that you don't need judgment. And that's a deep concept. So you could walk into any situation and not use judgment. And it's like, that's such a radical concept. What do you mean not use judgment? What do you mean I could not judge? What do you mean I don't need judgment? What do you mean I could walk into a situation and not utilize judgment? There's something else that I could be meeting each person and myself with. I could walk into a situation with others and not meet them with judgment. There's an alternative? Yes, there's an alternative to meeting others and walking into new situations without judgment. And we're going to hear about that. And remember, when you meet others and yourself without judgment, when you walk into a situation or relationship with no judgment, what comes to you is tremendous release and deep peace. Wow, so I want to learn how to do that. How about you? Let's learn how to do that. Carolyn says, judgment equals profound arrogance. Yes, it does. All right. And judgment always has a very high price. Because if you are judging the reality of others, you can't avoid judging your own reality. And you can't judge your own reality without a loss of peace. Why? Because you are not your source. You didn't establish your own reality. All right. So then it says this, paragraph 6. It's going to talk about some of the different forms of judgment that we love to do. It says in paragraph 6, when you feel tired, it is merely because you have judged yourself as capable of being tired. And when you laugh at someone, it is because you have judged them as debased, which means as a lower quality than you. And when you laugh at yourself, you are singularly likely to laugh at others, if only because you cannot tolerate being more debased than others. And all this judgment, judging them, judging yourself, all of this judgment, what does it do? It makes you tired. What does judgment do? It makes us tired. Why? Because judgment is essentially disheartening. Judgment is seeing others as less than you, or judgment is seeing yourself as less than others, and then now needing to see others as less than you in order to feel good about yourself. Judgment is disheartening. It's dispiriting. It's dispiriting, which is what makes us tired. So when we are dispirited, our energy goes down, right? It's depressing. So all this judgment makes us tired because judgment is essentially disheartening or dispiriting. And it says you're not really capable of being dispirited, but you are very capable of wearying yourself. So one of the things that it wants us to remember now is that one of the costs of judgment, we just heard, was loss of peace, but now we're hearing that when you are judging others' reality or judging your reality, it's disheartening, it's dispiriting, and it's wearying, and you will experience fatigue. You will experience yourself as tired. So your spirit isn't capable of being drained. Your spirit is always alive and always energetic. Who you really are maintains its energy. But when you judge the reality of others and you judging yourself, you will experience yourself as being tired or weary. Wow. So, and then why is that? Why is it that when you judge, it is tiring, it is wearying? It's because the strain of constant judgment is virtually intolerable. So what does judgment produce? Judgment produces strain. When I'm judging, it's producing strain. Now, why is that? Why is it to judge I've got to strain? The reason that judgment produces strain is because you're having to do something that is really not yours to do. It's something you can't really do. The Course in Miracles says for you to judge anyone or anything or yourself accurately, you would have to have an awareness and a knowledge of a list of things that you could not possibly know. Like all that went before and all the motivations that led up to a person's behavior, a person's choice. And the Course in Miracles says, who is in a position to know all that? And so the Course in Miracles is saying, in order to judge, you are going to have to strain. Judgment is a strain. And the strain of constant judgment is literally virtually intolerable. So if you are experiencing fatigue in any area of your life, if you are experiencing a lot of fatigue, there's a good chance that you are experiencing a lot of strain. You're trying to do something that you can't do. You're trying to do something that you weren't created to do, which is to judge. Judging them, judging yourself. And so if you are experiencing a lot of fatigue in your life, ask yourself, where is it that I am? What area of life is it that I'm experiencing strain? What area of life is it that I'm feeling fatigued? What area of life right now am I experiencing a lot of burnout in? That's the area of life where you are doing the most judgment. That's where you are experiencing the most strain. That's where in your life you're trying to do something that's not yours to do, like judge. All right, so good to know. Good to know. And then Carolyn says, judgment has me tired and fearful. The cost is way too high. Exactly. So, and it says, it is curious that it is a curious thing that any ability which is so debilitating should be so deeply cherished. Wow. Interesting. Very curious that this ability, what ability? This ability which is so debilitating. Wow, what's debilitating me? It's my ability to judge. And this ability to judge that is so debilitating to me, I mean, it is wearing me out. It is producing a tremendous amount of strain and fatigue in my life, but yet I so deeply cherish it. And that's a curious thing. It's a curious thing that this ability to judge, which is so debilitating to me, is so deeply cherished by me. So what is hurting me? What is causing strain? What is it that's so fatiguing me and actually downright debilitating in my life? It is judgment. I'm judging, and I'm judging all of the time, right? That's what's really debilitating me. Debilitating me in my relationships, debilitating me in my work, debilitating me in my career, debilitating me in my body. How many of us experience what we call chronic fatigue syndrome or something like that, where we have this chronic fatigue? The Course in Miracles says our chronic fatigue comes from the strain of constant judgment. And so, and what comes from laying judgment down? Tremendous release and deep peace, meaning the release from fatigue. What's the opposite of fatigue? What's the opposite of strain? Energy, aliveness, lightness. So when I lay judgment down, not because it's bad or not because I'm wrong, but because it's not necessary and I can't do it. It's dishonest. I don't know enough to judge. When I lay the judgment down, realizing that I can't judge, then what happens? Lightness, light. You experience not heaviness and strain, but you experience lightness, a lightening up. You experience a release, a tremendous release, meaning, whoo, the weights come off, the anchors come off, and you go up. You experience lightness, tremendous release. Release from what? From strain. From strain. Beautiful. I love hearing how to lighten up. If you are experiencing heaviness, like you're like tied down or anchored down to something that feels very heavy in your life, the Course in Miracles is telling us how to release ourselves from those anchors, from that heaviness, from that strain, that we might experience a lightness in our life, a release from being tied down to heavy anchors. And now we know what those anchors have been. Now I know what's been holding me back and holding me down and making me feel so heavy. It's the strain of constant judgment. Wow, good to know. Lynette says, I'm so tired, I must be judging. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Lynette. And Renew says, does that mean accept everyone as they are? Basically, yes, Renew. It means learning how to meet others totally without judgment. And also, it means learning how to meet yourself without judgment. And A Course in Miracles is teaching us how to do it. I don't even have to know how to do that, because A Course in Miracles is going to teach us how to do it. So how beautiful. So I don't even have to strain like, ooh, now I have to figure out how to meet myself and others without judgment. No, we're learning how to do it. We don't have to know how to do it. We have A Course in Miracles to teach us step by step how to do it. So thank you, Course in Miracles. And Renu says, judgment, I leave it to God from now, released from strain. Wow. Amen. beautiful. Thank you, Renu. And happy birthday again, Renu. All right. So it says this. Right. It is curious that an ability which is so debilitating should be so deeply cherished. But there's a very good reason for this, and that depends on how you define judgment good. If you wish to be the author of reality, which is totally impossible anyway, then you will insist on holding on to judgment. Okay, so why is it that this ability that's so debilitating is so deeply cherished by me? I mean, judgment is debilitating me, but I so deeply cherish it. Why is that? Well, that's because I still wish to be the author of reality. Wow. That's why I'm holding on to something that is debilitating me. It's because I still want to be the author of reality. That is what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to judgment because I'm addicted to being the author of reality, which is really impossible, but that's besides the point. And that's what I'm really addicted to. I'm addicted to being right. Being addicted to being right is the same as saying I'm addicted to being the author of reality. I want to be the author of reality. I want to be the judge as to what is true, what's the truth about them, their reality, and also myself. And so I'm addicted to being the author of reality. I'm addicted to being right. That's why I am holding on to an ability that hurts me. Judgment hurts me, but yet I hold on to it so tightly. Why is that? Because I'm addicted to being right. I'm addicted to being the author of reality. And that's why I don't let it go, even though it's hurting me so. It's just like every other addiction. You know, this addiction is hurting you. This addiction is hurting me. This addiction to this, we know our addictions hurt us. Why is it that we don't go, this addiction is hurting me, I'm just gonna let it go? Why is that? It's because we're really addicted to being the author of reality and being right. That's our core addiction. And it says, you will also use the term judgment with considerable fear and believe that judgment will someday be used against you. Okay, so then it says, to whatever extent judgment is used against you, it is due only to your belief in judgment's efficacy as a weapon of defense for your own authority. All right, that's really important. I'm going to break that down for us. Okay, first let me ask you this. Is there any area of your life right now or any relationship right now where you are fearing that judgment is being used against you, or you're fearing the judgment of another? Are you fearing the judgment of another in your relationship? Are you fearing the judgment of others in your workplace? Where is it that you are fearing the judgment of others? Well, he says that to whatever extent judgment is being used against you right now, it is due only. You are worried about others' judgments against you only because you still believe that judgment in the effectiveness of your judgment in defense of your own authority. In other words, you're still using judgment against others. You are still using judgment as a defense for your being right, as a defense for you being the author of reality, for your authority. So I'm afraid of the judgment of others because I have been judging others. I have been implying that I am the author of reality. And I've been using judgment as a defense, as a weapon of defense for my own authority, right? And so now I'm afraid of others using judgment as a weapon of defense for their authority. That's so wherever it is that you're upset about them judging you or afraid of others judging you, we need to tell ourselves the truth. Tell yourselves the truth. I'm afraid of their judgment. I'm worried about their judgment because I have been using judgment. I believe in the effectiveness of my own judgment as a what? As a weapon of defense for my own authority. I've been using judgment against them. And so now I'm afraid of them using judgment as a weapon against me. Now, that is the way to release yourself from the fear of the judgment of others. Absolutely, Heart Hiker. If I defend myself, I am attacked. Exactly. So, we talked a lot in last week's session about our fears of others, our fears of relationship, our fear of other people, our fear of extending our gifts to the world and putting ourselves out there. We're afraid of other people because we're afraid of their judgment against us. But we wouldn't be afraid of others. We wouldn't be afraid to be ourselves. We wouldn't be afraid to put our gifts out to the world if we hadn't been using judgment as a weapon of defense for our own authority. In other words, if I hadn't been judging them, then I wouldn't be worried about their judgment. And then I wouldn't be afraid of them, and I wouldn't be afraid to put myself out there. I wouldn't be afraid to share my gifts with the world. So this is a really important thing here, especially when talking about relationships, because we've all become afraid of relationships. We've become afraid of people. Why? Because we're afraid of their judgment upon us. And so the more afraid you are of their judgment, that is an indication of how much you are believing in the effectiveness of your judgment as a weapon of your own authority. And so if you want to release yourself from the fear of other people's judgments so you can be free to be yourself and give your gifts to the world, then practice, then learn how to meet others and yourself without judgment. Know that this is your spiritual practice. I have a spiritual practice called learning how to meet myself and others without judgment. I have a spiritual practice called learning how to not judge. There is a way to meet others and yourself without judgment. There is a way to stop making judgments, to make no more judgments. There is a way, and that is our spiritual practice. Why? So that we can experience the tremendous release and deep peace and the fearlessness and the lightness that comes when we meet the world and ourselves with no judgment. When we lay judgment aside, when we stop using judgment as a weapon for our own authority, when we stop using judgment as a weapon for our own rightness. Wow, imagine that. The Course in Miracles says the last judgment means that there will come a time when there is no more judgment because we're not using judgment. In the recognition that I can't judge. It's not that you shouldn't judge. It's that you can't judge. You're not the author of reality. You're not God. You don't know enough. You don't have enough knowledge to judge accurately them, anything, or yourself. So it's not like I shouldn't judge because it's not I stop judging because I shouldn't judge. It's I don't judge because I can't judge. I don't know enough to judge. And so, and the belief that I know enough to judge is the height of arrogance, and it is the cause of our loss of peace. And when we meet others with this awareness of truth, I don't know, I didn't create them, I didn't create myself, I'm not the author of reality, I'm not the source of reality, I'm not God, I didn't create them, and they didn't create me, so I don't know their reality. Only their source knows their reality. I don't know my reality. Only my source knows my reality. So I can't judge myself either. Now that is the attitude and the perception that produces a tremendous release and deep peace. A lightening where you experience yourself as light and free. And that's what we're learning how to experience. All right. So then it says, right, if you wish to be the author of reality, which is totally impossible anyway, then you will insist on holding on to judgment. And when you insist on holding on to judgment because you want to be the author of reality, you will also use the term judgment with considerable fear. Why? Because if you're still using judgment as a weapon for your own authority, you're going to believe that judgment will someday be used against you. So if you're still using judgment as a weapon of your own authority and being right, then you're always going to be afraid of other people doing the same to you and judging you. And it says that to whatever extent judgment is used against you, it is due only to your belief in judgment's efficacy as a weapon of defense for your own authority, right? So, if you weren't using judgment yourself as a weapon of being the author of reality, then you would not be concerned at all about how other people are judging you. You just wouldn't be concerned. You wouldn't be afraid of it. You wouldn't be concerned about it at all. Imagine that. Just imagine for a moment walking through the world and being in your relationships and not concerned at all about other people's judgments upon you. What would that be like, right? Where you're not concerned about the judgments of others. They can judge you all day long till the cows come home, and you're just not concerned about it. You're not afraid of it. You don't see it as a weapon being used against you. You don't feel the need to defend yourself. My God, what kind of lightness, what kind of freedom, what kind of peace would you experience if you weren't concerned at all about other people's judgments upon you? How free would you be? Man, you would be so, you'd experience such tremendous release and deep peace. You would feel totally free to be yourself. You would be totally free to be yourself. You wouldn't be constantly concerned and worried, and you would be free. You'd be free to be yourself. Now, you can have that freedom to be yourself as soon as you stop using judgment against them, against others. You're only concerned about their judgment, and that all the power of the judgment you're giving them against yourself, all the power you're giving their judgments of you, that is the exact same amount that you are judging others. Wow. So if you want to release yourself from that fear of the judgment of others, then decide that you want to learn how to release your judgments of them and in this situation. Decide you want to learn how to do that in this situation and in this relationship. And your higher self will help you to do that. So we would say, higher self, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the constant strain of worry about other people's judgment on me. I'm so tired of the constant strain that I put on myself by constantly judging others. I'd really like to learn how to meet them and myself without judgment. Will you show me how to do that, higher self? Now, that is a prayer that can never go unanswered. Immediately your higher self will go, woo, I thought you'd never ask. Let me show you how to do it. So, that's what we're learning how to do. And we want to learn how we want to be free of the fear of other people's judgments so that we can be ourselves and give our gifts to the world freely with no fear. We want to be free of the fear of other people's judgments, but that can only come from not using judgment, our judgment, as a weapon anymore. A weapon for our own authority. I'm right, see my judgment. You know, you pull, when you want to be the author of reality, you pull out the weapon called judgment and you use it as a weapon for your own authority. We want to learn how to stop doing that. We want to learn how to meet others without judgment. Now, okay, great. And then Renu says, can I judge myself? No, you cannot, Renu, because you're not your author. So you can't judge yourself. You know, only your author can judge you. And only the author of others can judge them. We can't judge ourselves. We did not create ourselves. So even our own judgments are meaningless. So, and to judge yourself, you're going to have to strain. You're going to have to make something up. You're going to have to strain. Why? Because you are not your own author. You did not create yourself. You cannot decide what you are. Only your author, only your creator can do that. And so, and then when we stop judging ourselves and we go, I don't know myself. I don't know the thing I am. The Course in Miracles says that the ultimate prayer of release is to say, I don't know the thing I am. I don't know what I am. And therefore, I don't know what I'm doing. And so, no, you can't judge yourself. And once you lay down judgment on yourself, realizing that you can't, then you'll experience tremendous release and deep peace. And then you won't be putting yourself under the constant strain of judging others. And then you won't be worried anymore about other people's judgments against you. Awesome. So then it says in paragraph 8, the issue of authority is really a question of authorship. So when you have an authority problem, it's always because you believe you are the author of yourself. And then you resent your own projection of this delusion onto others. Okay, so, and then you perceive the relationship as a relationship in which the two people are literally fighting you for your own authorship. All right, so what's going on here? Well, it's going to tell us, it's going to explain to us a lot of the conflict that we experience in our relationships. So a lot of the conflict we experience in our relationships comes down to we're fighting the other person over who's right about us, right? So, no, I'm right about me. No, they think they're right about you. We're fighting each other about the question of authorship. So, and that always comes down to this. When you believe that you are your own author, when you believe that your reality is established by you, you're always going to see other people as fighting you for authorship. I believe that I am my own author. I decide what I am. I decide who I am and what I am. If that is what you believe, then you're going to see always other people as fighting you for that. And you're going to be like, no, I'm right about me. Not you, me. And you're always going to be fighting over who is right about you. When you what? When you see yourself as your own author. When what? When you have an authority problem. When you have an authority problem, you're going to see always people as fighting with you over the question of authority. Wow. Interesting. So, do you recognize that? Do you recognize that about how the conflict in your relationships is always about who's right, who's wrong, who's the author of reality, of me, of them? We're always fighting each other about who's right and who's wrong. That's why. As long as I believe that I am my own authority, I got an authority problem. And now I see everybody as fighting me for authorship over me. All right. So, and then it says, this is the fundamental error. So having the authority problem is the fundamental error of all those who believe they have usurped the power of God. Interesting. Now, the belief that you've usurped the power of God may be frightening to us. It is frightening to us, but it hardly troubles God. Right? So what's our problem? The authority problem. What's the authority problem? I want to be God. I want to say what's reality. I want to say what is true about them. I want the right to say what's true about me. I want to judge their reality and be right. I want to be the one to say, this is the truth about them. That's what's going on with them. This is what they are. This is the truth about me. This is what's going on with me. That is an authority problem. And that is, so in other words, I want to be God. And they want to be God too. So guess what happens when two people come together and they both want to be God and they both want to be right, and they're both using judgment as the weapon of their rightness and their authority. That's what happens when two people come together and they both have an authority problem. They both want to be God. What are they going to do? They're going to be fighting. What are they going to be fighting with? Weapons. What are those weapons? Judgments. Wow. When I want to be right, I'm going to pull out a weapon. What's that weapon? Judgment. Now, but if I'm not wanting to be God, then I don't have a need to be right. And then if I don't have a need to be right, because I'm not the one who established reality, I don't have to worry about reality. It's already been established by God. I don't need to worry about being right or establishing reality. It's already been established by God. Nothing I can do about it. So if I'm not wanting to be right, meaning if I'm not wanting to be the author of reality, then I don't have a need to pick up a weapon and fight. And so I won't pick up a weapon. I won't pick up the weapon of judgment. And then if I'm not picking up the weapon called judgment to use against my brothers and my sisters, guess what I'm going to be experiencing in my relationships? I'm going to be experiencing tremendous release and deep peace. Now, wouldn't that be awesome? How'd you like to be experiencing that in your relationships? I'd love to be experiencing that all the time in my relationships. Tremendous release. Oh, I was just released from guilt. Oh, I was just released from pain. Oh, I was just released from the belief in lack. Oh, I was just released from limitation. Oh, I was just released from my belief, from my fears. And oh my goodness, look at the amount of deep peace that I'm experiencing in my relationships. Awesome. That's what I want to be experiencing in all of my relationships. And that comes not from finding the right people. That comes from me not picking up the weapon of judgment to use against them so that I could be right, so that I could be the author of reality and not them. So if you wish to, what does it say? If you are wanting to remain the author of reality, if you want to be God, then guess what? Other people too. If both people want to be God, then guess what they're going to be doing? They're going to be fighting. That's where fighting and conflict comes from in our relationship. They want to be right, and I want to be right. We both want to be right. We both want to be God. We both want to be the authors of reality. And so now we're going to fight to see who's right. And so the only way that we're going to be having a relationship where we're not fighting is where we both decide that neither one of us are the author of reality, and we don't want to be. I don't know what is reality. I'm not the author of reality, and they don't want to either. That's the only time when we're not going to be fighting. Otherwise, we're going to be fighting. With what? With the weapons of judgment. Judgment is the weapon I pull out to establish that I am the author of reality. I'm right. I'm God, and not you. If I want to be God, I'm going to see everybody else as competition. When I want to be God, I'm going to be seeing everybody else as a competition for my rightness, for my authority. Wow. I'm really seeing, as we go into this, I'm really seeing why it is that he says that you have no idea of the tremendous release and deep peace that comes from meeting others without judgment. I really see why now. And Irene says, if I don't need to be right, the author of reality being God, then I'll get release from lack. Yes, exactly. And release from all limitations. Wow. Oh my goodness. And then thank you, Renu. Renu also says God has made perfect characters for his goodly wood movie. I love, instead of Hollywood, goodly wood. Yes, to be right is to use the weapon of judgment. Yes, exactly. So let's go on to, I'm getting very warm. I wonder why. All right. It's getting very warm in here. Whew. My ego's like, I'm going to light you up. So, here we go. So, this wish to be God. So, the judgment is me wishing to be God. I'm God. I'm the author of reality. I know enough to judge. I'm the author of reality. It says that wish to usurp God's power, that wish to be God, it says that is, what does it say? It is a wish that's very frightening to us, but it hardly troubles God at all. God is not concerned that God's children are like, I'm God, no, I'm God, bang, 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 no, I'm God, bang, bang, bang. God is not troubled at all that we are trying to be God and that we are trying to kill each other over that ridiculous wish. And notice it's a wish. God's not troubled by that at all, but God is, however, eager to undo our wish to be God and to kill other people who also want to be God. God is eager to undo that wish. Now, God is eager to undo this wish to be God and to kill other people who also think they're God, but God is not eager to punish us for that. God is eager to undo our wish to be God and to kill other people who also want to be God. He says he's eager to undo this wish, not punish us for it. And he's eager to undo this wish only because he knows that it makes us unhappy. So God is not angry that we are trying to be God, that we are trying to push God off the throne of authorship and to take that throne for ourselves. God is not concerned at all. And God does not wish to punish us about that. But God is eager to undo this wish to be God. because he knows that this wish to be God makes us unhappy. Indeed. What makes us unhappy? Our wish to be God, and our wish to use judgment to hurt and kill others who question our authorship. How dare you question my authorship? How dare you question my judgment? How dare you question my rightness? Obviously, I'm right. How dare you question that? That's me wishing to be God. That's me coming up to God's throne and wishing to push God off God's throne and to sit on God's throne and to judge as if I am the author of reality. Wow. Now, what would you say about someone who wishes to be God and who wants to kill and judge others who dare question that? You would call them insane. And indeed, that's what we are. So, all right. Now, so God wants to undo our wish to be God. God wants to undo our authority problem because he knows it makes us unhappy. So, wishing to be the author of reality, meeting others with and ourselves with judgment, this is what makes us unhappy. This is the cause of our loss of peace. And so then peace again comes from meeting others totally without judgment. And that's what we're learning how to do. We're learning how to be happy. And that comes from going, I don't know. I'm not the author of reality. I'm not God. And so I'm not going to judge their reality. I'm not even going to judge my own reality. I'm going to ask what it is of the one who knows. Imagine that. How radical. Renu says, I will definitely become perfect if I accept people's bad comments on me. I will definitely become perfect if I accept people's bad comments on me. Interesting. And we're learning how to not be concerned at all. We're learning how to be unaffected, completely unaffected by other people's judgments on us. Can you imagine how free you would be? How free if you were completely unconcerned about other people's judgments on you? That's what I want to get to, because I want to be free. I want to be free to be myself. I want to be free to extend my gifts to the world. I want to be free from fear and guilt. And there's only one way to do that, and it's not finding the right people. It's me ceasing to use judgment as a weapon for my own authority. And when I stop using judgment against other people, then I'll stop worrying about how others are judging me. And then I really will be free. I love that idea of how to be free of the fear of other people's judgments, so that I can be free to truly be myself, my beautiful, brilliant, creative, genius self, as I was created by my Creator. So I don't need judgment. I was created with a loving genius, a loving, brilliant genius within me. I don't need judgment. I have within me one who does know the truth about everyone and everything. And so I don't have to make up anything. There's no need. Whatever I'm going to make up is going to be not only wrong, but completely pitiful. I don't know. But there is one within me who does, and whose judgments are always loving and always accurate. So the Course in Miracles says, why should you judge? There's no need to judge. Not when you have one within you who does know the reality and the truth about everyone and everything, and is absolutely willing to reveal that to you, to share that with you, who knows it for you. Why should you judge? You don't need to. You got the divine spark within you, whose knowledge is perfect, which means is always loving and always genius. So, no need to judge. So instead of judgment, we could just as easily go, Spirit within, what do you know to be true here? What do you know about the reality of this person or myself or this situation? Decide for me. Great. That's the alternative to judgment that will bring to you tremendous release and deep peace and make you seem like a genius. I love it. When you're turning to the divine spark within you for the knowledge, then you seem like a genius and you get credit for being a genius, when really all you did was turn to the loving genius within you. I love that. So don't forget, you don't need to judge. You have a loving, brilliant genius within you called Holy Spirit, who is willing to decide all things for you based on knowledge, based on reality, based on the knowledge as established by the source. I love that. I love it. Yes. Beautiful. All right. So then it says, God's children, so for me it's paragraph 9, God's sons, God's children were given their own true authorship, but they preferred to remain anonymous when they chose to separate themselves from their author. That's what we did. The word authority has been one of our most fearful symbols ever since. Yes. When we talk about having an authority problem, that is a fearful symbol. Authority has been used for great cruelty. Yes, indeed. Authority has become a fearful idea, has it not? Why? Why has authority, the word authority, become a fearful notion? Because the word authority and the concept of authority has been used for great cruelty. Well, I would say so. In our experience, all of the authorities have been what? Greatly cruel. They've been very cruel. So authority has come to be associated with great cruelty instead of, oh, I have an author, and an author who is all loving and all abundant. It says authority has become a very fearful symbol because it's been used for great cruelty, being uncertain of our true authorship. Being uncertain of our true authorship, we believe that our creation was anonymous. Okay? We're uncertain of who created us, and so, in other words, we believe our creation was anonymous. We don't know who created us. We think we just spontaneously erupted. Evolution. Evolution is a concept, is an expression of a concept that we just popped out of nothingness. We believe that our authorship was anonymous. And it says, and believing that our authorship is anonymous, like we just spontaneously generated, called evolution, this has left us in a position where it sounds meaningful to consider the possibility that we must have created ourselves. That's right. If we don't know that we've been created, if we think we just spontaneously evolved from lizards or from apes or whatever, or from the mud or from the ocean, we just evolved. You know how we have this concept in evolution that life just spontaneously generated. It says that belief leaves us in a position where it makes sense to think that our creation was anonymous, meaning, where did we come from? I don't know. Maybe we just spontaneously evolved from the oceans. And it says then that leads to the possibility that, maybe we created ourselves. So the idea that our creation was anonymous, we don't know where we came from, now it makes sense to believe that we created ourselves. And that is where we're at. The authority problem is the belief that I created myself. So now I believe that I can judge myself because I believe I created myself. I believe I came from myself. I believe that my reality is up to me to decide, right? That's what we believe. Oh, I'm here. I came as a blank slate, and now I have to create my identity. And I create my identity as I go along, and hopefully by the time I reach maturity and adulthood, hopefully I've created an identity sufficient enough to meet the world on its own demands. That's our insanity. That you know, my authorship was anonymous. I create myself, and so who and what I am is up to me to decide. Gee, I hope I make myself into something good enough. Okay, that's the authority problem that we're experiencing. And then it says, the dispute over authorship has left such uncertainty in our minds that some of us have gone so far as to doubt whether we were ever created at all. Yikes. And despite the apparent contradiction in this position, it is, in one sense, more tenable than the view that we created ourselves. At least it acknowledges the fact that some true authorship is necessary for existence. So we have a lot of confusion about our authorship. Did we just spontaneously combust and did we spontaneously generate? We're just an accident in creation. Did we create ourselves? Did I create myself? Where did I come from? Who am I? There's a deep, deep question in our minds about this, and it has created complete uncertainty, and it has created profound self-doubt within us. If you don't know where you came from, then you're not going to know who and what you are. And if you believe that you don't have a source, if you believe you don't have an author, and you believe that your reality is up to you, then what are you going to experience except profound uncertainty and self-doubt? So A Course in Miracles is just saying, again, our problem is an authority problem. Either we are thinking that we have no author, or we're believing that we are our author. Either one of those is going to produce deep, deep uncertainty, deep, deep, deep self-doubt. And it's going to create a situation where we're going to be trying to create our own reality, which is going to not end well. So this paragraph is just going through again, describing at another level our authority problem. So the Course in Miracles says something deep. It says that money is not the root of all evil. It's the authority problem that is the root of all evil. I'm trying to be my own authority. I'm trying to be my own authority. I'm trying to be everybody else's own authority, right? And they're trying to be your authority. They're like, I know what you are. You are this. I'm judging you to be this. I'm judging you to be that. I've judged you to be this. And if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. That's what they're doing to us, and that's what we're doing to them, right? And that's what we're doing to ourselves. And that is why we are full of self-doubt. And that's why we're constantly in competition and in war. What are we fighting with others about? We're fighting others for authorship. I'm right. And then they're like, oh, no, I'm right. No, my judgments on you are right. No, my judgments are right. That's what we're fighting with each other about. Right. And it's also why we're very, very deeply experiencing self-doubt. So you can see here why the authority problem is our core problem. And you can also see here how the deep, tremendous release and deep peace that comes from ceasing to not wishing to be the author of reality, not wishing to be our own author, not wishing to be the author of reality for every situation and everybody we're in relationship with. Getting into the state of mind where it's like, I don't know, I'm not God. I'm not the author of my own reality. I'm certainly not the author of their reality. I don't know. But there is one within me who does, and will withhold from me nothing, who will in any moment, in any holy instant say, oh, you want to know, you want knowledge, you want certainty of who and what you really are as established by your source? Well then, let me share that with you. We do have one within us who does know the truth about us, and who does know the loving truth about everyone and everything, and who's ready and willing to share that with us. Beautiful. So that's the alternative to judgment. All right. And I'm going to finish this paragraph, and then we'll go on to announcements and our integration meditation. I'm so happy you guys are joining us. Welcome, Maria and Bridget. Bridget says surrender. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. That's the essence, really, of surrender. It's saying, I give up trying to be the author of reality. I give up trying to be God. I give up trying to get to God's throne, push him off. I'm God. I'll decide what your reality is, and I'll decide what this means, and I'll decide what their reality is, and I'll decide what my own reality is, and anybody who disagrees with me, off with their heads. Okay? Yes, that's the real meaning of surrender here. That's, and it's also, we're talking about, that's what innocence really is. Innocence is like, I know I'm not the author of reality. I know that I'm not God, and I'm ecstatic about that. And I'm going to give up the strain of trying to be God when I'm not God. I am a child of God. I am a creation of God. I create like God, but I'm not God. I'm not the author of reality. And I'm not going to try to establish what reality is for you and you and you and you and me when I'm not that. And so innocence is a state of mind where you know you don't know, and you're happy about that. Because trying to know when you don't really know, that's a strain. And you're going to be wrong. And it's going to make you tired. It's going to make you fatigued. And innocence is where you're just like, I don't know, I'm not God, and thank God, and I don't have to know. Right, I don't have to know. I can just turn to the one within me who does know and enjoy the tremendous release and deep peace that comes from that. And Renu says, yes, I surrender to God's plan for me. Exactly, Renu. And then Greg says, all the uncertainties of this world testifies of a world that has no clue who its author is. Exactly. That's exactly what's going on. That's why the world is at war. And that's why we are at war within ourselves and also with each other. And then Renu says, finally, I am innocent and hence happy. Exactly. Thank you, Renu. You heard correctly. And Irene says, I give up trying to be the author of reality, being God. I am an innocent child of God. Yes, we are innocent children of God. We don't need to know. Just like when your children were young, your children didn't need to know everything in order to be totally provided for and safe and loved. They didn't have to know anything. Why? Because you were their loving parent. You were already handling it for them. You were knowing for them. And that's exactly how it is in relationship with our parent, with our spirit parent called Father, Mother, God. Right. And so, we can experience all power. We can experience all peace and knowledge as long as we're not trying to be the source of it. I love that. I can experience all the benefits of knowledge, all the benefits of the knowledge and the love and the power of God, as long as I'm not trying to be God, right? as long as I'm not trying to be my parent, then I can receive all the benefits and all the care and all the power of my spirit parent. Beautiful. And Irene says, I'll just turn to my Holy Spirit and have him be in charge. Holy Spirit, be you in charge. Exactly. Exactly. So then it says, oh yes. Where were we? All right. Okay. All right. Just hold on. Let me find it. Yes. Okay. So paragraph 10. Only those who give over all desire to reject can know, which means be certain, that their own rejection is impossible. Okay, extremely important. First, let me ask you, would you like to experience a state of mind where you know, where you're certain that your own rejection is impossible? Would you like to have an experience like that? How would you like to have a state of mind and be in a state of mind where you know, where you're certain that you can't be rejected, where your rejection is impossible? Would you like to have a state of mind like that? I would. I would love to have a state of mind. I would love to have the knowledge that my own rejection is impossible, where I'm not walking my world afraid of rejection. What would you be experiencing in your relationships if you knew that your rejection is impossible? What would you be experiencing in your relationships? Wow. Well, if you would like to be in a state of mind in your relationships where you know, where you're certain that your rejection is impossible, I can't be rejected, and you have certainty that you can't be rejected, it says you can have that state of mind when what? When you give over all desire to reject. Wow. Okay. Do you want it that bad? Do you want that certainty that you can't be rejected bad enough? Have you suffered enough in your fear of being rejected? So that's my question. Have you suffered enough in your fear of being rejected? I have. I've suffered way more than enough. My fear of being rejected. So I've suffered enough to be willing to learn how to give over all my desire to reject. Wow. Why am I afraid of being rejected? Because I have a desire to reject others and a belief that I can do that. I have a belief I can reject others. It's called judgment. And I have a desire to reject others with judgment. And so now I'm so worried all the time that somebody is going to reject me, or that God is going to reject me, that something's going to reject me. Okay? So if you have had it for real with your fear of rejection, then decide that you want to learn how to give over your own desire to reject others with judgment. All right. Yes, I know I want to be free of that. I'm done. I've had it. I've had it with the fear of being rejected, right? Always be like concerned. Oh my God, what if I'm rejected? Oh my God, what if they reject me? What if they reject me? What if they reject me? Now, I don't want that to be my relationship with the world anymore, and I certainly don't want that fear of rejection to be poisoning my relationships anymore. That is a poison, and it has been poisoning our relationships, and it's been poisoning our world for way too long, and it's unnecessary. And so what I'm saying to you right now, and I'm saying it for you, and I'm saying it for all the world that is one with me, I desire to give over. I wish to give over all. I want to give over all of my desire to reject. I want to give over all my desire to reject. Spirit within me, higher mind, I want to give over all of my desire to reject. So, Spirit within me, decide for that for me. Help me to learn how to do that. And this section is how to do that. Okay? Learning how to meet yourself and others without judgment is learning how to give over all of your desire to reject others, so that you can come to a state of mind where you are certain that you can't be rejected. And then now you'll have no fear of love, and you'll have no fear to love. When you know you can't be rejected, what happens to your fear of love? It's gone. And so you're going to be more loving, and you're going to receive more love. That's what I want. And I know that's what you want too. So only those who give over all desire to reject can know that their own rejection is impossible. You have not usurped the power of God, but you have lost the power of God. Fortunately, when you lose something, this does not mean that that something has gone. It merely means that you do not know where that thing is. See, existence doesn't depend on your ability to identify it or even to place it. And so it is perfectly possible to look upon reality without judgment and merely know that it's there. And by knowing that reality is there, and you don't need to judge reality, it's there without your judgment. It says that by knowing this, you are not doubting its reality at all. Wow. And then you'll have peace. Peace is your natural heritage. Peace is your natural inheritance. So what is it saying here? And we're going to stop at this paragraph. It was saying that reality does not require your judgment. Reality isn't like, we need your judgment in order for reality to be itself and for reality to exist. So we need your judgment. You know, the people in your life and the situations in their life, you know, God isn't needing your judgments for reality to be what it is. God didn't create reality depending on your judgments. The reality that God, who is love, created is absolutely exists without your judgments. Reality doesn't need your judgments to exist. But by your judging reality, you're not going to experience reality. Reality is all loving, ever abundant, all peace, all the time. And you can experience reality, the reality created by God, if you don't judge it. So reality is not waiting for your judgment to be itself or to exist. Right? But if you're sitting there judging the reality of others and yourself, you're not going to know the reality. You can't know reality while you are judging it. Because you judging reality is you saying, I'm the source of reality. I'm the author of reality, and I know enough to judge. I'm the author of reality. I'm God. And so you could experience the total peace, the total joy, the total love, the total peace, the total abundance, the eternal life that is reality, that was established by God as reality for us. For us. God is our spirit parent. God created reality for our benefit, for our good. It's here. We don't need to earn it. We don't need to make ourselves worthy of it. It's here for us, created for us. And so, in other words, we don't need to judge in order to partake of it. and we don't need to judge. So in other words, and only if we judge the reality of others and ourselves, only then will we not know the peace and the abundance and the support and the love and the joy of reality. It's here without our making, and it doesn't depend on our judgment to be itself. But we will not know it while we are judging it. So the point being is that it is possible to not judge reality. It is possible to just let reality be what it is and experience all of the power and the love and the peace and the abundance that reality is, that was created by God for us. So, what is the sentence? It is possible. What's the sentence? It is possible to, it is perfectly possible to look on reality without judgment and merely know it is there. So it is possible to meet others and ourselves with no judgment. And what it's saying here is it is possible to walk into a situation or be in our relationship and just know that reality is already there. Reality has already been established for them, for me, and for the situation. And enjoy it and be supported by it, be healed by it, be made ecstatic by it, be made rich by it, healed by it. It is possible to merely know, to look upon reality. It is perfectly possible to look on reality without judgment. To see the reality that's already there, that's already been established by love, by God for us, that is already there without our making. We don't need to judge. We don't need to make ourselves worthy of it. We don't need to judge other people or ourselves as worthy or not of it. And to experience the full benefit of it with no judgment whatsoever. Beautiful. And by knowing this, you are not doubting its reality at all. So what's the alternative to judgment? Is just going, hey man, I don't have to judge I don't have to figure anything out. I don't have to know what's going on with them. I don't have to judge what's going on with them. I don't have to judge myself. I don't have to judge anything here. I don't have to understand anything. I don't have to know what anything means. I don't have to decide what that means at all. I don't have to decide what I mean. I don't have to judge their worth. I don't have to judge my worth. I don't have to know or decide anything. I don't have to interpret anything. I could just know reality. I could just look on reality and know it's there and that it is good. I could do that. And like it said, when we meet ourselves and others with that certainty, with that knowledge, with the decision to just look on reality instead of judge, and acknowledge reality instead of judge, then we experience deep release. We experience tremendous release and deep peace. That's what we experience when we meet, when we just do what? When we just look on reality without judgment and merely know that reality is there. Awesome. So we're going to stop here. And Renu says, enjoy each episode of World Trauma. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, Renu. Appreciate that. Okay. So we're going to stop here and we're going to do announcements, and then we're going to do just a 2-minute integration meditation. So announcements are, I do 2 live streams a week from 7 to 8:30 Mountain Daylight Time. As in this class, Wednesdays is Complete and Annotated Edition of the Course in Miracles. On Mondays, we do Miracle Roulette, where we pray, we ask Spirit what Spirit would have us hear, and then we do the random number generator. We call that Miracle Roulette. That's on Mondays. All of my classes you can find on my Facebook page by just scrolling through or going to my YouTube channel. And my name is spelled Anna, and my last name is Kujawa. So just go to my YouTube page, and then you'll see all of my classes as well. And when you go to my YouTube page, you'll see not only classes, but readings and Course in Miracles meditations and all kinds of good stuff. And when you go there to my YouTube page, hit subscribe, and then you'll get a notification every time I post something. And I'm a holistic psychotherapist, and I'm available for one-on-one miracle psychotherapeutic sessions. And to contact me, you can go to my website, annakajawa.com, and go to the last page and find my phone number and text me. And you can communicate with me best through text. So that is the announcements, and now we're going to do the integration meditation for just a couple of minutes. And what we do there in our integration meditation is we use the ideas that we heard. We listen to music and relax, and we use them. Awesome. I so appreciate you guys joining this healing circle. Thank you for joining your energy and your light to this healing circle. When we join on hearing these ideas, we release a tremendous amount of light into the world that goes into the world and answers the calls for love in the world. Our light goes into the world and replaces darkness. And so on behalf of the world that your light is healing, thank you. The world thanks you, and I thank you. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes and take a breath. And just breathe and feel and breathe and feel what these ideas feel like inside your mind, inside your heart, inside your body. What does it feel like to hear these ideas? Beautiful. So I want you to bring to your awareness a relationship or a situation in which you have either been experiencing someone else's judgment on you, or their rejection, or your fear of their judgment, or your fear of rejection. I want you to bring to your awareness that situation or relationship where you're afraid of rejection, or you're afraid of being judged, or maybe where you feel like you've been judged, or where you feel like you've been rejected. I want you to bring that to your awareness and take a breath. And take note of how that feels, to fear being judged or fear being rejected. Notice how that feels when you believe you have been rejected or judged against. And take a breath. All right, now I want you to say to yourself, this belief that I have been judged or rejected, or my fear that I have been judged against or will be judged against or rejected, this is coming from my desire to reject. Oh, this fear of being rejected, this belief that I have been rejected, this belief that I'm being judged, this fear of being judged is coming from my desire to reject, me having used the weapon of judgment as a weapon of my own authority, my desire to reject. Oh, I want to give over all desire to reject. I want to give over my desire to use judgment as a weapon of my own rightness, my own authority. I desire to give over all desire to reject. I want to give over all desire to reject. I want to give over all my desire to use judgment as a weapon of my own authority. And so, higher mind, divine spark within me, please help me. This is my desire. This is my will. Decide for me. Teach me how to give over all desire to reject. Teach me how to give over all my desire to use judgment as a weapon of my own authority. And take a breath. This is a prayer that can but be answered. And then say to yourself, I am not my own author. I did not create myself. Thank God. I did not create myself. I have been created by a all-loving, all-powerful, all-loving Creator. And my all-powerful, all-loving Creator has given me everything that it has. All love, all power, all peace, all joy, and eternal life. All life. And all I need do is accept my inheritance. I don't need to judge reality. I don't need to judge anything in order to receive all that my loving Creator has already given me as my own inheritance. And now, in this situation or in this relationship where you had been afraid of rejection or had perceived rejection or judgment, now I want you to look upon this situation or relationship. I want you to look upon this situation or relationship without judgment. I want you to look upon this relationship or situation and merely know that reality, that the reality of love is there. I want you to look on this situation or reality, this situation or relationship with no judgment. I don't need to judge this person. I don't need to judge this relationship. I don't need to judge this situation because I know that the loving reality is there. All the love of God is there. All the peace of God is there. All the safety of God is there. All the love of reality is there. No matter what I see with my eyes, all loving reality is there. All loving reality is there. I trust that only love is there. All the love is there and only love is there. And that's the truth. I don't need to judge anything about them. And I don't need to judge anything about this. Notice how that feels. To meet now this situation or this person without any judgment. No need to judge, because all loving reality is there already. Don't need to decide anything. And then just take a breath and enjoy the tremendous release and deep peace that comes from meeting this person and this situation completely without judgment. There's nothing to judge. God's in control. God's already decided what's real and what's true. God doesn't need you to judge. He's already decided everything for you and for them. And it's good. And they are good. And you are good. It's all good. No need to judge otherwise. And take a breath. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, guys. Great job. Great work today. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for joining this healing circle. I feel so much better. This has been such a gift and a blessing to me. And I thank you for being part of this gift. Thank you for your gift to me and being a part of this. I'm so happy to join with each and every one of you. And I appreciate you so much. And I'll see you next time I see you.